Putting some more miles on the Land Rover. It's doing great. No ABS speed glitches. ABS lights on because the module is faulty, the internal pressure sensor. No other warnings in 10 miles. I unplugged the coolant level sensor and just shorted the two pins together just as a diagnostic procedure. That means the sensor's faulty. The owner said the coolant bottle is new, but whatever sensor's in there, when it warms up, when the coolant heats up, it just loses contact and open circuit, and then you get a check coolant message. For OBD2, all monitors complete except for EVAP, not ready. So we'll do another cold start drive cycle. Make sure you can pass the Virginia emissions inspection. Other than that, it has an air ride problem and the ABS module needs to be replaced. That's it. So I'll talk it over with him, see if he wants me to go any further. But I'd say we did a pretty good job. ...2008 Land Rover. A little bonus footage, we got the AC machine out. So the customer is satisfied with the ABS repairs. Even though the ABS doesn't work, the module internal pressure valve is bad. The rest of the car is calm. It's not setting the check engine light. That's what he cares about. He just wants to pass the emissions inspection. So that's under control. We have no refrigerant in the system. So let's evacuate and recharge. Make sure there are no big leaks. And then make sure it cools so we can drive it back to Virginia. Alright, so first let's do vacuum. It's basically 0 psi. Enter. Okay, 10 minutes is fine. Leak test. Yes, we'll do a leak test. Alright, so after the 10-minute vacuum, doing a 10-minute leak test. We're still holding good vacuum, so hopefully that passes. I'll recharge it. And this is the single AC system, so 700 grams of R134A. Alright, looking good. Leak test passed. The needles did not move at all. So we're going to charge. And this is a metric system here, so 0.7 kilograms or 700 grams. Okay. Charge it to the high side. We can even do both. Start. Alright, good deal. Start, disconnect the low pressure hose. No, I said disconnect the high pressure hose. Connect the low pressure hose, start AC. Okay. Let's fire it up, make sure it blows ice cold. So we set the cold, cold, and cold. Yep, looks good. Second down to 30 psi, excellent. Pipe is getting cold like it's supposed to. And we're done. Now it clears the hoses out and should be good to go. So on this 2008 Land Rover Range Rover Supercharged, I want to make sure all of the OBD2 monitors pass and there are no pending codes before giving the car back to the customer. Because the overall customer request was, I want to pass my emissions inspection. That's why we have to go through all the ABS stuff. So now all of the monitors are ready except for EVAP. I've test driven it 3 or 4 times. Extended 10-mile test drives. EVAP is still not ready. Let me do some research on this EVAP system. What does it take to pass this EVAP test? Alright, so EVAP emissions component layout. It's got a canister. There's all the components. And I want to see what the criteria is, the logic for this thing to run the EVAP leak check. So it kind of goes through what the purge valve does. ECM waits until engine is running above 40 degrees C. Coolant temperature with closed loop operation before purging process is activated. Charcoal canister. So NAS is North American standard. All except NAS is world standard. So North America standard is more stringent, so it has a different type of canister with more capacity. Right there, NAS vehicles capacity of 3 liters instead of 1.2. For LEV2 emission regulations. Here we go. Diagnostic monitoring of tank leakage, DMTL NAS only. That's North American standard. So the DMTL system, it's a legislative requirement, periodically checks EVAP system when ignition is off. So there's a DMTL pump right there by the filler neck. And incorporates a pump and a vent valve. So the operation to check the fuel tank EVAP system for leaks, ECM operates the DMTL pump, monitors the current draw. Initially, ECM establishes a reference current by pumping air through a reference orifice. Then once the reference current is determined, the ECM closes the normally open vent valve, seals the EVAP system, purge valve remains de-energized and therefore closed. Output of the air pump is diverted from the reference orifice and into the EVAP system. So this is the DMTL pump. There's a solenoid valve and the pump motor. When it's not active, there's just a vent that goes right to the canister. That's the fresh air vent. When it's active, system active, see this valve moves. Or first it blows through this orifice to establish the current of the pump. See the air goes through here and out the vent. And then when changeover of solenoid is energized, sealing EVAP system from atmosphere providing there are no leaks, air pump will begin to pressurize the EVAP system and load the current draw on the pump increases. Monitoring the rate and level of current increase, ACM can determine if there's a leak in the EVAP system. Okay, so it's an indirect leak check. There's no pressure sensor. It's just using this current of this DMTL pump. Okay. ECM performs a check for major leaks each time the ignition switch is off, providing the following conditions are met. This is what I want to know. Vehicle speed is 0. So you turn the key off. After a drive cycle, you turn the key off. Vehicle speed 0. Engine speed is 0. Pressure altitude is below 10,000 feet. Ambient temperature is 0 to 40 C. Charcoal canister load factor is 2 or less, where the load factor is measured. A fuel vapor stored in charcoal canister. So basically, after a refill event, the canister is saturated, so it doesn't do a leak check if it's saturated. The fuel tank level is between 15 and 85% nominal capacity. So yesterday on the test drive, I actually had to stop by a gas station because the fuel gauge was below a quarter of a tank. So I want to be right in the middle. Put in 10 gallons of premium for 50 bucks. Ridiculous. But that was like only half a tank. So we're in that range currently. Engine running time during the previous cycle is more than 10 minutes. Okay. Battery voltage is between 10 and 15. Last engine off time was more than 180 minutes. So this only starts 3 hours after a drive cycle. Okay, no errors are detected within the EVAP components. Ambient air temperature, fuel level, high range must be selected in the transfer box. Alright, so ECM performs a check for minor leaks after every second major leak check or after refueling is detected. When the leak check is complete, the ECM stops the DMTO pump and opens the changeover valve. Okay, if the fuel filler cap is opened by refueling detected during the leak check, sudden drop in the current draw or a rise in the fuel level, ECM aborts the leak check. If a leak is detected, it'll store a code. The duration of a leak check can be between 60 and 600 seconds depending on the test results. Develop tank pressure amperage within a specified time period and fuel tank level. So this is a handy chart. This is time, then this is when it's blowing through that check orifice, so the current goes up, then it opens the changeover valve and is pressurizing the system. So current drops, yes, and then D, no leak detected. The current should ramp up and go above that threshold, the initial threshold. E, small leak, 0.5 millimeter. F is large leak. Basically, you can't build any pressure, so the current never goes up. Okay, so that's it. We have to take it on one more test drive. It has to be longer than 10 minutes. We have to park it and wait over 3 hours. I'll give it 5 hours, and then we'll check it, and hopefully this EVAP monitor switches to ready and there are no pending codes. Alright, so 2008 Land Rover owner finally paid his bill, and he's going to get this thing out of here. It's not perfect, but we did what the main customer complaint was. He couldn't pass his emission test. Now he can. The EVAP monitor is still not ready, but all the other ones are ready, and it's not setting any pending codes. And in Virginia, if you have one monitor that's not ready, you're good to go. No fault code, so amazing. ABS lights are obviously still on. Has a suspension fault. The owner was like, "Can you check my adaptive headlights?" He didn't believe me that everything was working. I'm like, the adaptive part works, but let's look under the hood and see that there is still a problem with the headlights. What do you think of these headlights, Banks? So the left headlight, when I first looked at it, the eyeball was pointed down just like this one. Okay, you can see that it's got like a lazy eye. And the owner said he got these units on eBay, and well, if you look under here, this whole contraption is just junk. The eyeball in the housing, it's just loose. So there's no electronic problem. I told him, whatever you gotta do, man, you're on your own now. Just replace your headlights again. I'm not gonna mess with that. So the customer is pleased with the axle repair and the bearing and the tone rings and all that mess. And that's it. So hope you guys enjoyed that one. Stay tuned for more. We'll see you on the next one.